Hello dear readers and subscribers. The art world can be incredibly challenging to navigate, or even more challenging simply to enter it. Over the past year, I have been making all these unwritten rules and inside information of the art world accessible via free articles and free videos here on the YouTube channel. And in that process, I have also prepared a complete overview of all the documents, tools, templates and spreadsheets that you absolutely need to professionalize your art practice to enter the art world. And today, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. As it is our mission to empower artists and to level the playing field by making the unwritten rules of the art world accessible, I have created a series of tools and templates in which the typical structures or the typical must-have documents that are being used all the time by different actors in the art world, ranging from established artists to established galleries, I have made them accessible so you can use them as well to elevate your credibility instantly and also to make a professional and confident impression. All these tools can be found on our website and can also be used online. So let's dive in. Now let's start with navigating to the CAI website, which is the abbreviation for contemporaryartissue.com. Here we have the main menu, and of course we have to look at advice for artists and go to career tools, or you can click on advice for artists and then click on career tools here or here. Immediately we have an overview bundle of all the different tools and documents that we provide. So here we can see all the 11 documents and tools or templates, with below it a series of reviews of verified customers. And if you think we only show the good reviews here, make sure to go to Trustpilot itself for more reviews of our product. If you think that I'm only here to sell products and not to actually help other artists, if you opt not to go for our templates because you already have your own version but simply want to check if you're doing things the right way, or simply if you want to save some money, I have here at More Info with every single item an article, a complete article with all these steps, a very extensive survey, all the results, all these step-by-steps that you need to go through to make sure that everything is in line with the unwritten rules of the art world. I also explain these unwritten rules and have a look at some industry-approved examples from established artists and galleries. So you can simply consult that article or even the video version here on YouTube, where you can have a complete tutorial. However, of course, if you want to save some time and if you want to support this channel so that we can continue to empower artists and share all these unwritten rules of the art world, then of course we most appreciate it if you purchase our tools. They are priced at very modest price, the price of a coffee, and if you buy them all together, there is even a 40% discount. Regardless if you opt to use these templates or you create your own documents, it is very important that we know which ones we need to have. So let's start with the first one, the artist resume or the CV template. In this overview, we always have a general description, the main bullet points, why it is important, but also a short overview of the use of the document, which file type that we provide, and also the priority of it. For instance, here with the artist resume, it is very high. It is a must-have document. In fact, every single professional artist website, we need to have this artist resume. All the documents are in either Word or spreadsheets, and if you do not have Microsoft Office, all you need is a Google account. You can simply go to Google Docs, you can log in, open a blank document, go to File, Open, Upload, and here you can insert your templates. Here is the artist resume template, and there are these very specific ways of entering the information. Also, how we always start with the name and surname, where you were born, where you're residing and working, followed by the overview of the exhibitions, but also how you need to simply write them down, starting with the year and then title, place, country, etc. So you can simply use the structure and insert your information. The design is already optimized to be in line with the expectations in terms of the design for artist resumes, and you can simply copy and paste this for your website as well. Up next we have the artist biography. This is also a very important document that I have given the priority of must have. Everyone needs to have an artist biography, which is a very concise document, a small text where we're giving a summary of our artistic practice and also our career. And also here there are also specific structures or things that the artist wants to see in your bio. So with this tool we have actually used ChatGPT for people who struggle writing in fluent English, or simply to connect all the different dots here. So you can save in fact a lot of money. Instead of having to hire an art critic, you can simply use the prompts that we have in this spreadsheet. So it is actually very simple. You simply have to list all the information here. So factual information, you simply have to enter these things. Up next here as well, I also in green have some additional guidelines on the best ways to actually answer these questions, or the best way to use the same terminology as the art world does for an ideal end result, of course. And when we have entered all this information, you can simply copy and paste this prompt, including all the answers that we have given to these questions. Then we can review it and paste it here. We also have additional instructions on which things to avoid, because ChatGPT does has its flaws. It can be sometimes very vague or pompous in its language. So we definitely want to make sure that you're aware of these things and that you get the final edit right. Now moving on, we have a catalog with available works. This is actually a very, very important one that so many artists simply forget or do not have. It's actually a portfolio that is ready for commercial use. So if there is a gallery or a potential collector interested in your work, we want to show all the works that are ready to go right now and discreetly share the prices. So here there's also a very typical archetypical structure that I'm briefly going to show you. Here it's very easy. You can once more simply enter your name, replace this image, enter your details here. It starts with a short artist biography, which is kind of similar as the one we have discussed earlier. So here there are actually a couple of things packed together, as well as the structure for the resume. So this is kind of a shortened version of those things. And then here is the main thing, of course, the catalog with available works. It's very, very simple. You can just click with a right click, go to replace image, upload from computer, and enter your artwork. You can see that it's now cropped, so it is better to reset the image so that we have the ideal ratio. And then you can simply enter all the metadata here. This is also something very important because many artists forget to have complete metadata. It's very important. It's what all the galleries are doing, all the museums are doing, all the established artists are doing, so you must do them as well to make a very professional impression. Up next, we have two legal documents actually for an artist-gallery collaboration. So we have the Consignment Agreement, which is for a one-time show in which you consign works for the gallery to sell during that exhibition. And also the Representation Agreement, which is an ongoing contract in which the gallery is representing an artist. So both documents are pretty similar, but simultaneously there are of course differences because the expectations or the obligations of both the artist and the gallery are different depending on the type of collaboration. And I believe the most valuable thing here is not only that you can protect yourself and your art, but that in the first place that you know what you are doing, because this is absolutely crucial. It provides an overview of all the best practices and common agreements for artist-gallery collaborations. So this means that the first draft will be how it is most often done. And then, of course, there can sometimes be some subtle differences, especially depending on how established you are. But we also kind of help you along the way in the templates themselves. So let's have a look. The design is already very professional. It really does the trick. So here for a consignment agreement, you need to enter which works you're going to consign. And for instance, an example of how it can change depending on how established you are, we give different options. For instance, when it comes to taking care of the transportation and the storage, we have option 1 for emerging artists. Here we have option 2 for emerging and mid-career artists, and option 3 for mid-career and established artists. So these things are very, very useful to be aware of, to kind of put you in the right direction, to make a good agreement with the gallery. The same applies with the representation agreement. For instance, here with the terms of representation, it all depends on how established you are. Sometimes it is common that there are very few agreements and that you simply commit to delivering enough artwork for them to sell. But on the other hand, if you become more established, the gallery commits to offer you, for instance, international art fair exposure, or to sell at least for a fixed value or a fixed number of sales. So these things are a great way to get you started as well. And the list goes on with different options. So that being said, very important documents to avoid conflicts and simply to professionalize your collaboration. However, also make sure to read the article here, because it is not always necessary to use a contract when working with galleries. However, it is necessary that you know what these common agreements are. And this is something I also share freely, of course, in our articles and videos. Moving on, we have the oeuvre or inventory overview. This is a kind of template for the start of what one could call a catalogue raisonné, meaning an overview of all the artworks that you declare as part of your oeuvre, but also where they currently are. Have they been sold? In which collection? For how much? By which dealer? And all these things. So it's very efficient and also cost efficient way to actually manage all your works, because as soon as you create a new work or a work leaves the studio for an exhibition or for a sale, you simply have to update this single document, and then everything is still trackable and manageable. So this is actually a very useful document. Most often online alternatives will be subscription based, very expensive database solutions. However, for an artist, especially if you're starting out, it can be done a lot more efficiently and a lot simpler with this type of table. Once more, I also explain you in the article how you can set up a table like this yourself, and also how you should use it. So here are actually all the things that are important: a catalog number to track them, an image, of course, so that there is no confusion whatsoever for which artwork it is, which can sometimes be rather important if most of your works are untitled. The rest of the metadata, of course, but also its collection or location, its exhibition history. This is also very important. If in a later stage you want to create a catalogue raisonné, that you have the track record of all the shows, but also in which publications that it was showcased, etc., etc. Moving on, we have the price calculator, a pricing spreadsheet, which is actually a very easy to use document. Create your prices in bulk almost. So it is sometimes very difficult to price your works following the market standards, and this calculator tool is actually a solution for almost or practically all different media. So for paintings, for works on paper, fine art, photography, prints, fine art prints or reproductions of, for instance, drawings or paintings, and also three-dimensional works, sculptures or installations. I extensively cover how to price your works in our article, but here it goes a lot quicker. It simply asks you questions. You look what works best for you. You answer these questions to see if we need to bump up your index number or put it down a little bit, depending on how time-consuming your process is, how expensive, how it is framed, etc. And then you can enter these things here. And if you enter your dimensions, for instance, if we would have an index number of 20 and you have an artwork measuring 100 by 70 centimeters, or this is in inches, so it's in fact a different index range. I believe for a new emerging artist, 40 would be a better price range. Then we have our price in dollar. We also have a version for euros and centimeters. We also have a template to create your certificate of authenticity. This is also a sign of professionalism towards your collectors, towards your galleries. It's actually a very simple document. And here it is kind of pre-designed, in which you state that you declare and certify the artwork as yours and an authentic creation, and you can additionally sign it, give it to them in an envelope, or even stick it to the back of your artwork. So make sure to go through all the additional information here as well. Another very practical tool that is also often overlooked when it comes to advice for artists is of course having an invoice template, because invoicing and also the general terms of sale are very important if we want to start selling our works. So it can go 2 ways. In fact, you could simply have this sent directly to a collector when you have a direct sale, or you can simply use it to invoice your gallery when you want to round up and collect your money from all the sales that they have done. So it looks like this. So it is also a professional design. You can simply enter the information of you and your client. It isn't an automatic invoice system. However, I believe this is a little bit of overkill, because in reality, especially when you're starting out, if you'll be writing 20 invoices a year, that will already be quite a lot if you're a new emerging artist. So simply having a good template is more than enough. So we have this nice box where you can enter the artwork, once more the metadata, pricing, also give all the details when it comes to the shipping, and also very important, the terms of sale. So these are general agreements when it comes to the ownership, the copyright for displays, resales, payment terms, shipping conditions, etc., etc. So this is to protect yourself and also to protect the artwork. For instance, if there would be any damage, or if they want to make any changes to it, that your intellectual property and also the physical artwork is protected. Second to last document is a essential contact list. This is also very, very essential, because as an artist, the network is arguably one of the most important things for the rest of your career. You really need to manage your contacts and also be able to find them very quickly if you're doing some email marketing via a newsletter, if you want to network at a certain event, or simply via Instagram, if you want to target your clients to give them that VIP treatment with previews and some updates from the studio. This document is simply essential. So the essential contact list is actually very straightforward. It's once more with a table, and we have actually different categories depending on the type of contact that we have. To conclude, we end with the artist statement tool. This is actually on popular demand from the YouTube audience. So this is in fact a more extensive version of the artist biography, and even a more personal version, because here we're actually going to talk about every single thing that we can talk about, because at a certain point we'll have to talk about our works, or the questions will be asked and we want to answer them in a convincing and also confident manner. So this is where the artist statement becomes very, very useful, because then we don't have to come up with the right words on the spot or make a shaky impression, because the words will already be there. It starts with the main questions, of course, and being able to once more use a ChatGPT prompt to try to have a nice conversational text here to answer these questions. But then also more specifically, we're going to look for what makes your technique unique, what makes your style unique, and this is perhaps the most tricky part. When it comes to your subject matter and your vision, to get you started with a series of questions that can help you explain the meaning or the value or the vision when it comes to your work, and once more with ChatGPT prompts to have a nice solid text about them. You can even discuss different periods, different series of works, or even individual artworks. So it is actually a very extensive tool to be very well prepared when the time comes that you have a show and that you'll have to talk about your works and you have to defend your works. Then it's a very useful exercise to go through this document once more and to prepare yourself. Now that concludes all our tools, so if you're interested in one of them, you can simply find them on this page. And if you want to save some money and if you want to have all of them and also support our activities, the best option is without a doubt our complete bundle, in which you have all of them at the best price possible. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Feel free to watch our video on 10 tested ways to sell your art next. Support us on Patreon and please consider subscribing to stay posted for more contemporary art. Bye.